Wives, he who finds a wife finds a good thing and obtains favour from the Lord. Proverbs 18:22. Wives, likewise, be submissive to your own husbands, that even if some do not obey the word, they without a word may be won by the conduct of their wives, when they observe your chaste conduct accompanied by fear. Do not let your adornment be merely outward, arranging the hair, wearing gold, or putting on fine apparel. Rather, let it be the hidden person of the heart, with the incorruptible beauty of a gentle and quiet spirit, which is very precious in the sight of God. For in this manner, in former times, the holy women who trusted in God also adorned themselves, being submissive to their own husbands, as Sarah obeyed Abraham, calling him Lord, whose daughters you are, if you do good and are not afraid with any terror. Husbands likewise dwell with them with understanding, giving honour to the wife as to the weaker vessel, and as being heirs together of the grace of life, that your prayers may not be hindered. 1 Peter 3 verses 1-7. Live joyfully with the wife whom you love all the days of your vain life, which he has given you under the sun, all your days of vanity, for that is your portion in life, and in the labour which you perform under the sun. Ecclesiastes 9 and verse 9. Let the husband render to his wife the affection due her, and likewise also the wife to her husband. 1 Corinthians 7 and verse 3. Let your fountain be blessed, and rejoice with the wife of your youth. As a loving deer and a grateful doe, let her breast satisfy you at all times, and always be enraptured with her love. Proverbs 5 verse 18 and 19. Wives, submit to your own husbands as is fitting in the Lord. Colossians 3 and verse 18. Your wife shall be like a fruitful vine in the very heart of your house, your children like olive plants all around your table. Psalm 128 and verse 3. Submitting to one another in the fear of God. Wives, submit to your own husbands as to the Lord. For the husband is head of the wife, as also Christ is head of the church, and he is a saviour of the body. Therefore, just as the church is subject to Christ, so let the wives be to their own husbands in everything. Husbands, love your wives, just as Christ also loved the church and gave himself for her, that he might sanctify and cleanse her with the washing of water by the word, that he might present her to himself a glorious church, not having spot or wrinkle or any such thing, but that she should be holy and without blemish. So husbands ought to love their own wives as their own bodies. He who loves his wife loves himself. For no one ever hated his own flesh, but nourishes and cherishes it, just as the Lord does the church. For we are members of his body, of his flesh, and of his bones. For this reason, a man shall leave his wife, father and mother, and be joined to his wife, and the two shall become one flesh. This is a great mystery, but I speak concerning Christ and the church. Nevertheless, let each one of you, in particular, so love his own wife as himself. And let the wife see that she respects her husband. Ephesians 5:21-33. Who can find a virtuous wife? For her worth is far above rubies. The heart of her husband safely trusts her, so he will have no lack of gain. She does him good and not evil all the days of her life. She seeks wool and flax, and willingly works with her hands. She is like the merchant ships. She brings her food from afar. She also rises while it is yet night and provides food for her household and a portion for her maidservants. She considers a field and buys it. For her profits, she plants a vineyard. She girds herself with strength and strengthens her arms. She perceives that her merchandise is good, and her lamp does not go out by night. She stretches out her hands to the distaff, and her hand holds the spindle. She extends her hand to the poor. Yes, she reaches out to her hands to the needy. She is not afraid of snow for her household, for all her household is clothed with scarlet. She makes tapestry for herself. Her clothing is fine linen and purple. Her husband is known in the gates, when he sits among the elders of the land. She makes linen garments and sells them, and supplies sashes for the merchants. Strength and honour are her clothing. She shall rejoice in time to come. She opens her mouth with wisdom, and on her tongue is the law of kindness. She watches over the ways of her household, and she does not eat the bread of idleness. Her children rise up and call her blessed. Her husband also, and he praises her. Many daughters have done well, but you excel them all. Charm is deceitful, and beauty is passing. But a woman who fears the Lord, she shall be praised. Give her of the fruit of her hands. Let her own works praise her in the gates. Proverbs 31:10-31. An excellent wife is the crown of her husband, but she who causes shame is like rottenness in his bones. Proverbs 12:4. The wise woman builds her house, but the foolish pulls it down with her hands. Proverbs 14:1. Houses and riches are an inheritance from fathers, but a prudent wife is from the Lord. Proverbs 19:14. Now I'm aware a lot of this doesn't apply to us who live in the city, but I can tell you one thing. I went to meet two friends 2 days ago, and they said to me, "You look wonderful." That's because my wife keeps buying me clothes. So a good wife takes care of her husband like my wife takes care of me, and I'm truly blessed of the Lord. May you also be blessed.